بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Rabi' al-Awwal Mubarak to all of you, to everyone. I pray everybody's doing well. I'm very excited and happy to share with you this really gem that has come into my life these past week. When I was with my dear friend Saad Omar in Virginia, we came across this poem that is attributed to Khalil Gibran in Arabic about the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's a poem commemorating and praising the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I later found out that it's actually attributed to another poet who also happens to be Arab, Lebanese, and Christian. His name is Khalil Mitran, who actually migrated from Lebanon and spent his entire life in Egypt. But whether it is Gibran's poem or whether it is Khalil Mitran's poem, I think the poem is really powerful. And what has come to me this past week is to translate this poem, and I felt as though it was an opening for me to be able to translate this poem in some type of rhyme from Arabic to English, and I will be reading it for you here in translation. I pray that you enjoy it. I pray that it brings happiness into your heart, into all our hearts, and inshallah brings happiness into the heart of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The descent of the Crescent sent. The Crescent has risen. Greet the coming holy day. Salute the giver of tidings, promises are on the way. O emblem of minds seeking clarity, of God's wisdom lasting till eternity. Your beauty stands baffling all of creation, like a virgin moon born at a blink's elation. God has wonders the most astonishing, renews its splendor at every vanishing. The youth of the world all came to your call, riding as freedmen with victory on the wall. Crescents of rising knowledge and character, seeking bounties from a heavenly inheritor. Those illumined by the banner of their hero, treading a path of intention with no sorrow. Since time's beginning he has informed us that perfection is to seek and struggle thus. If you were to march to forests like his, steps into perfection, true victory this is. O holy day, you came as a promise to return to us your glorious origin with victory in turn. Rather, you are two holy days. In their nearness there is a subtle meaning separating distance. You came again on the day of a believer's delight. That day gazing at you is itself awed by your light. God's message is not complete without strain. The trustworthy one suffers exile and pain. God's message, if it descends on mountains, they perish, then rise a valley with burdens. If an ocean carries it, it will turn water to flame. All its tears would dry, and its rocks fall to blame. It is not a prayer if the pure one carries it heavily, then lays in pain from it, deserting sleep warily. He intends departure from family and abode. His wings carry sadness of his people's ill owed. He almost stayed had he not been embraced by the divine order for destiny to be ordained. When his people transgressed in hurting him, exiled his followers out of ignorance and whim, he called forth his victors, intending migration. None responded save those from a high nation. He marched forth with the Siddiq in company, racing sadness through the desert's hegemony. He directed his face towards Medina the blessed, in a night exalted by time, seen and addressed, whence the trustworthy took the cave as shelter and slept in its embrace like an oppressed elder. The cave guarded him, an invisible curtain in front. Then they came, threatened him with an affront. What creed did the Siddiq have during that night? Bitten by a snake, weeping without sound or sight. What a creed when it is firm, even if shaken. By the ravager of towns, it is the safest haven. As for the others, companions who came behind, treading every path that curves wildly undefined, neither the armies of Caesar nor Khusro in their pride are like these exalted warriors in bravery or stride. They are in the Stygian night witnessed by stars, as riders in a vision and glory that humbles scars. And when the glow of morning unveils them, they rise like a good sun in that heat's gem. In God's protection are they as their arrows glow. On shadow summits and camels heavy on a foe, Muhammad suffered much during his migration, his desire to be on God's path, a blessed station. How many conquests and battles he endured, only to return with divine victory and assured. Such is life, 'tis to struggle and keep climbing summits, so give soul to hear heaven's chiming. The lowest of these is to fight against corruption, to protect one's life, that is until its abruption, to live freely liberated from every transgressor, to tread the earth helping the lowly and lesser, to seek that glory and that sought after ending, that withering into a remembrance ascending. You already know what I need not be telling, but my voice amongst you is an echo's tilling. What the guide's migration gave his community are righteous fruits, sent from until an eternity, overwhelming the world in its entirety as creation turns and returns in variety. He appeared when disbelief had aid in groups, on every stage their victory crushed in troops. Those ignorant ones they only like a god, like them a servant, a form hiding facade, worshipping divinely what their hands mold of some metals, minerals, and stones of old, arrogantly seeking harm like a lover's charm, strong in disbelief, yet miserly in faith's arm. Their opinions descend amidst separation, like abodes of diaspora and utter isolation. Their prayers gather not of their beasts, save like empty screams in deserts of east. They cannot bear rules save what they decide, their banners tied to desires, whims, and pride. What dream is he who distraught that ignorance? Brave was he to slay their belligerents. That pure young man returned his people, a single soul, generous, exalted, and regal. Then came the criterion arriving like a miracle, rather the sign of truth with victory mythical. It weighed on this prophet to unite them in peace, to take them from disbelief to their Lord in peace. To take them from disbelief to their Lord to please. The earth opened its arms further to his news and spread his message to Christians and Jews. As he ushered an era of counsel and judgment, God's will became that way to contentment. This is the truth, affirmed by consensus and aided. Whosoever seeks its weakness, they will be abated. Muslims of the world, this religion is your ancestor, and no people's past can live with an absent center. Feebleness has increased and the years are in a hurry, and a moment that passes disappears with no worry. So quick to working on what will benefit the land, because just talking is not the land's helping hand. Seek and be ambitious, for justice seeks your love. It is on your side, even against the enemy's dove. Never tire and never become weary, for your thirst leads to a spring of a people in heaven immersed. Learn every knowledge, grow in health, and take every way of presence, wear it and fear no mistake. Liberate your minds from shackles and you will fly. Even your foot is free from a grip that won't untie. A west in the heart, if it reaches its harbor of safety, then the entire east's face is safely without frailty. But the east now is half the world with no work, save those needs that distract and make to shirk. Meanwhile, the west rises as the east remains, hesitant towards its past, counting its remains. Our civilization complains of a body in paralysis. One organ returns, another is in coward palaces. Children of the world, you have a responsibility to bring an old glory back from its lost ability. Let the east return with a proudly standing banner. Let the west glow through you in a regal manner. How wondrous would it be for our spring to come, as we are firm in action with an honor to become. both east and west, to helpers duly liberated, from the eye of an enemy, its envy eviscerated, to mirrors of kindness in knowledge and deed, freed from the other's views and oppressive greed. Neither one shall do a mistake that goodness sees, save that the other will come to mend its disease. Nor a competition shall overtake them both, save that benefit will overwhelm all growth. These are the fruits that all people should desire. From your garden, those branches in the sky higher. I say to the west, east, and the entire world, let claims of pride be, for each has his word. Rather spread God's bounty on your laity. Perhaps then the miserly will leave his frailty. Your hope is always to fill the desire of hunger, food lost in bliss and forgotten in war's bunker. Yet grace has come, this crescent is for you, the tiding of perfection lasting a blink or two. Tomorrow we see the full moon written above, with the light of the seal erasing the night in love. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.